I'll be honest, I never really had the kind of deep, fairy tale love for Stacy. Sure, she was stunning, absolutely beautiful, and she had this rare kindness that often doesn't go hand in hand with someone who looks like her. So yeah, I married her. At the time, it seemed like a good decision, and we had 7 solid years together. It wasn't perfect, but it wasn't bad either. We had our fair share of laughs and the occasional argument, but nothing unusual. Still, deep down, I never bought into the forever idea. Something about her just never fully clicked for me, but I figured, why not? Everything was fine until I noticed some changes. Stacy started to, become young again. New wardrobe, fancier lingerie, more frequent trips to the salon. I wasn't blind. I'd seen this behavior before. It wasn't hard to put the pieces together. But instead of confronting her immediately, I decided to have a little fun with it. Why not? I didn't love her like that, and my heart wasn't exactly on the line. So, I hired a private detective. I wanted hard evidence, photos, timestamps, locations, the whole shebang. And the detective didn't disappoint. Turns out, Stacy had been having an affair with a guy a whole decade younger than her. And they were going at it like teenagers. Everywhere. Cars, hotels, even in our house. They were like rabbits, and I couldn't help but laugh at the absurdity of it all. I thought about confronting her right then and there, but where was the fun in that? I wanted to enjoy this moment, really savor it. Stacy, the perfect little housewife, caught in the act with a guy barely out of college. It was almost too perfect. And me? I wasn't heartbroken. I was amused, mostly. It confirmed what I had suspected all along. Stacy was more in love with herself than anyone else. The signs had been there for months. Suddenly, she was obsessed with her looks, hitting the gym like she was preparing for a modeling contract, buying lingerie I had never seen before. At first, I thought maybe she was trying to rekindle some spark in our marriage. But no, it was all for her boy toy, Kyle. Yeah, Kyle. It seemed so predictable, didn't it? But here's the twist. Instead of letting the anger take over, I got creative. I wasn't about to play the role of the sad, heartbroken husband begging for answers. No, I had a better idea. I was going to prank them. If Stacy thought she could outsmart me, she had another thing coming. So, I filed for divorce, moved all the money into my account, and got ready for the grand finale. And where better to execute my masterpiece than from a beach in the Maldives? I told Stacy I was going on a business trip, but in reality, I was setting the stage. I'm a bit of a tech nerd, so I rigged the house with cameras, set up a two-way mic system, and for the grand touch, I hacked the fire alarm system so I could set it off remotely. The plan was simple. Wait for Kyle to show up, catch them in the act, and let the games begin. Meanwhile, there I was sipping a cocktail on a beach in the Maldives, grinning like a kid on Christmas morning. Stacy, clueless, thought I was stuck in some dull meeting across the country. And sure enough, within a day, Kyle showed up at the house. I was lounging under a palm tree, watching it all unfold live through the cameras. He swaggered in, all cocky like he owned the place, while Stacy greeted him at the door with that "I'm sexy" grin she always gave me. I hated that look. It always made her seem fake, and now I knew why. She'd been rehearsing it for him. They barely made it to the couch before they were all over each other, clothes flying, hands everywhere. Honestly, it was embarrassing how little control they had. But hey, they were giving me exactly what I needed. Just as things started to heat up, I took another sip of my drink and hit the button. The fire alarm went off, blaring throughout the house. Stacy and Kyle jumped apart like someone had dumped ice water on them. They scrambled around, checking the stove, the smoke detectors, trying to figure out the source of the noise. But there was nothing. The confusion on their faces? Absolutely priceless. Once they calmed down, they awkwardly tried to pick up where they left off. I waited until they were back in the swing of things, and then bam, I hit the alarm again. This time, they were downright pissed. Kyle's running around, shirtless, desperately trying to figure out what's going on, while Stacy stands there looking completely lost, like a deer caught in headlights. That's when I decided it was time to turn up the heat. I flicked on the mic and spoke, "Hey Stacy, having fun?" My voice echoed through the house, booming like a voice of fate. They froze, completely confused about where the voice was coming from. They started spinning in circles, trying to find a source. "Yeah, I'm talking to you, Stacy. And you too, Kyle. Hope you two are having a blast because this is your last time in my house. I could see Stacy's face drain of color. I could almost hear the wheels turning in her head, trying to figure out how I knew and where I was. She was in full-on panic mode, and for the first time, she had nothing to say. Kyle, on the other hand, was pacing, looking freaked out. Sweat started to form on his forehead. I'm sure he was wondering if some crazy ex-husband was about to burst through the door. Too bad for him. I was thousands of miles away, lounging on a beach with my feet in the sand. "Oh, don't bother looking for me," I said through the mic. "I'm not there. But I am watching. And I have to say, this little show you two are putting on? Pathetic." "Really, Stacy? This is the guy you picked? Kaha? You do know you're just her midlife crisis, right? She's only with you because you're 10 years younger. Enjoy that." Finally, Stacy snapped out of her daze and started screaming. "Who the hell do you think you are?" she shouted. "How dare you spy on me?" There was the classic Stacy defense. Always quick to turn the blame around. She wasn't even trying to deny it. Straight to the outrage. Classic. "Who do I think I am?" I responded. "I'm the guy you've been married to for 7 years. The guy who just filed for divorce and cleaned out our accounts." "Yeah, that's right, Stacy. All that money? Gone. You're welcome." Her face twisted, a mix of fury and panic. She sputtered, trying to find the right words. You can't do that. That's illegal," she shrieked. "Oh, it's very legal," I said, grinning. "See, I've got proof of your little affair, and that makes divorce easy. Adultery doesn't exactly sit well in court, sweetheart." The shock on her face was exactly what I'd been hoping for. Kyle, on the other hand, didn't say a word. He stood there, frozen, probably wishing he was anywhere but here. "Too bad, buddy. You're stuck in the show now." "And Kyle," I said, turning my attention to him, "I've got a little surprise for you, too. You know that car you parked in my driveway? Hope you got insurance. By now, it's probably got a few new features. Let's just say I made sure some local teenagers had a little fun with it. Consider it a parting gift from me." Stacy's jaw dropped. She started crying like the world was coming to an end. I almost felt bad for her. Almost. "That's right, Stacy," I said, feeling the satisfaction of it all. "This is your cue to pack up and get out. I'm on vacation right now, but when I get back in a week, I don't want to see you or your stuff anywhere near my house. You've got 7 days. Make it count." I leaned back in my beach chair, watching as Stacy's world fell apart on the screen. It was honestly the most satisfying thing I'd ever seen. She went from screaming at the top of her lungs to sobbing uncontrollably in a matter of seconds. As for Kyle, he just stood there, frozen in place, likely calculating how quickly he could get out of the house without me showing up. Smart move, Kyle. But as much as I was enjoying this spectacle, I'd be lying if I said it didn't stir something deep down. Not because I still loved her. I'd gotten over that a long time ago. No, it was something else. Seeing her crumble like that made me think. I felt relief. It was strange, like a weight I hadn't even realized I was carrying had been lifted off my shoulders. For years, I'd been coasting along with Stacy, convincing myself that this was all there was. This was as good as it would ever get. But now, as I watched the life we built burn to the ground, all I felt was freedom. Sure, the anger was still there. I mean, who wouldn't be pissed off after being cheated on? But it was deeper than that. It was a betrayal. The lies. The way she paraded around, pretending everything was fine, while sneaking around with Kyle like some desperate cougar. That pissed me off, but not in the way you'd expect. I wasn't heartbroken. I was insulted. She thought I wouldn't notice. She thought I wouldn't care enough to do something about it. That's what stung. Then there was the humiliation. Seriously, Kyle? This kid could barely rent a car, and she was acting like he was some sort of upgrade. I couldn't help but laugh. If this was the guy she traded our marriage for, then honestly, she did me a favor. After a few moments of silence, I leaned back into the mic again. "Stacy, I'm not mad. I'm just done. I've been done for a while now. Honestly, you saved me the trouble of pretending. So, go ahead, cry it out. I hope you and Kyle have a blast together. But as far as we're concerned, we're finished." She tried to stammer something out, probably an apology or some pitiful excuse, but I cut her off. "No, I don't want to hear it. It's over. The divorce papers will be there tomorrow. And by the time I get back from the Maldives, I want you gone. Oh, and one more thing. Don't even think about touching a cent of that money. It's mine now. Consider it a small price to pay for screwing me over. Her sobbing turned into a shrill, hysterical scream, but I'd already tuned her out. Kyle? He'd slipped out the back door, leaving her to face the consequences alone. Smart move, really. As I sat there, watching the final act of this absurd little drama unfold, something shifted inside me. I was finally free of it all. 7 years of pretending, 7 years of playing house with someone I never really loved, and now it was all over. Just like that. I wasn't sad. Hell, I wasn't even angry anymore. I was just relieved. Stacy kept shouting, throwing insults at me through the camera. You can't do this. You're heartless. You're going to regret this. It was almost comical, like some bad soap opera. But her words didn't hurt. They didn't have any power over me anymore. I could have stayed on the line, argued with her, let her scream until her face turned blue. But what was the point? Instead, I calmly hit the button and cut the feed. No more shouting. No more tears. No more drama. Just me, the ocean, and the quiet satisfaction of knowing I had ended things on my terms. Sure, she'd probably fight it, make a scene, but with the evidence I had, she didn't stand a chance. I could already picture her face when the divorce papers arrived. It made me smile. If there's one thing I've learned through all of this, it's that sometimes you just have to let things go. There's no use holding on to someone who's already checked out of the relationship, especially when that someone is like Stacy. She wasn't worth the energy. I had spent enough years pretending. Now, I had the rest of my life to do whatever the hell I wanted. So, to anyone out there who's dealing with something similar, here's my advice. Don't waste time on someone who doesn't value you. Get out, take control, and make sure you leave on your own terms. Because trust me, nothing feels better than watching the people who wronged you squirm while you're sipping a cocktail halfway across the world. Stacy might have thought she'd get away with it, but I made sure she'd never forget the day I turned the tables. Stay tuned for more exciting stories on my YouTube channel. Your enthusiasm and feedback mean the world to me. Warm regards.